everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me. Today we're talking about sort of someone who's connected to the Ace family. I've read an article about it. Somebody had sent me a video by Mom Uncharted about this one girl who was connected to the Ace family by Austin McBroom's brother-in-law. Anyway, she released a video about a year ago. I've never seen it, basically calling out this whole world that she hates. She thinks that she's feeding her kids up to predators. She took steps to take her kids off. She spilled the beans. It's actually quite an inside look at what these family vloggers do and how bad it actually is. So let's take a look at it. So Daily Mail just released an article, and it's I wish I'd known sooner. YouTube star who shares every minute of her baby daughter's life online, including her birth, admits bitter regret at her own naivety for realizing she essentially fed her child to predators. Now, we talk about this all the time on here. One of the biggest dangers of putting your kids on this platform is you're giving them up on a silver platter to predators to do what they want with the content that you're feeding them. And they know it's happening, and they don't care. A YouTuber spent years filming her young daughter in the hopes of making her a star has admitted she now bitterly regrets putting her child online. Shyla Walker from LA originally set up a video blog with boyfriend Landon McBroom after finishing high school to record milestone moments throughout the relationship. Now, they all say this. Like we're filming milestones. These are for memories. They're not. It's for cash. These people want to be famous, and they use their kids to do it. The couple welcomed daughter Solene in 2019 and quickly became a regular fixture on their channel, titled This Is L&S, when they shared constant insight into family life. Shyla, now 25, who said she was naive about the internet at the time, has since revealed she is quitting the industry altogether. Now, she looks just like Catherine McBroom, by the way. It's like these brothers, like, they chose the same type of person. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying. There's her giving birth. Shyla had first been introduced to the world of family vlogging by Landon's brother, Austin, who garnered more than 18 million subscribers on his controversial channel, The Ace Family. Now, The Ace Family are controversial because they are exploiters, plus they scam everybody. They've had so many scandals in the past and never been canceled. He's a scammer. They are scammers, and they've scammed fans out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Every business venture they've taken on, they failed. They bought a house that they were living in under business, and it wasn't even meant to be living in it. They weren't even allowed to be living in it, apparently, how bad it was. It's crazy what these people have done. And of course, Landon is just jumping on his brother's bandwagon to try to get all that fame, and they made a bunch of money, too. They made a ton of money. Having launched their own account, she and Landon shared milestone events, including footage from inside the delivery room shortly after she gave birth. The couple began publishing 3 videos a week, with Shyla telling Insider, content was such a daily part of our lives. I would say as much as having a cup of coffee, you see your life not in terms of moments, but in terms of content. Now, these family vloggers will not admit that to you. They know that everything they do is for content. So when a child's going to Disney or they're doing something cool or fun, that's all for content. They're not doing that out of the family obligation to having fun with their children or making memories. They're doing it to make content. That's a big difference. When you're a family who's not making content and you're doing all these things for family things, that your motivation is different. If your motivation is to just make money, everything you do is fake. They shared clips for 3 years and built up a following with more than 3 million subscribers at the channel's peak, giving an insight into Solene's birthday, first steps, and other significant moments. But all the content, apart from the delivery clip and a piece to camera from Shyla announcing the camera was closing, has since been taken down, with the mom admitting the family life was developing into a performance. There she goes. Like, imagine being 25. This is like when your frontal cortex is fully developed now, and she's starting to say, "Yeah, you're right. This was the worst thing that could have happened." Much respect for someone who's this young, who's picking up on that. She said, "I didn't want to look back at my daughter taking her first steps in these monumental moments and realize that no one was authentic in that moment, because everyone was so focused on creating this image of what the internet wanted to see. This is how the sausage is made. She's telling the truth, no one else will." Shockingly, Shyla revealed that Solene, when she was just 3 years old, began pushing the camera away when it was pointing in her direction. Shyla started to believe that the constant filming was making the youngster uncomfortable, and at the same time was becoming increasingly aware of the dangers regarding uploading a child's image online. She told the publication, "I wish I would have known sooner how innocent things can be used in not so innocent ways. I would post innocent photos of her in a bikini, and now I just cringe when I look back because I feel I was essentially just feeding her to child predators." And she was, and these people are. And now, do they mean to do it? Maybe not, right? But does it happen? Yeah. That's it. That's the reality of it. They might start out not meaning to, but when the paycheck starts rolling in, they know what's happening and they don't care. The fact that people could have access to my daughter and know where she is and all these other details about her was scary and eye-opening. In May of 2021, Shyla announced that the channel would no longer be running in the original format. In a video which is still available, she said, like, we've been going and growing through things. Personally, I believe physically healing, spiritual motion, you name it. As of now, This Is L&S is no longer, and that is not necessarily a bad thing. So she just woke up to it. So This Is L&S is still up. Okay, and it has 2.85 million subscribers. And it has 7 million views. That's weird. They must have deleted a lot of videos, I guess. Yeah, okay, so the end of L&S was 2 years ago, 3 million views, and then they left up the official L&S labor and delivery. I wonder why she left that up. That's actually quite interesting. She said that Landon would be focusing his attentions on boxing, and she would be creating content on her own. Shyla and Landon later broken up, and an increasing interest in mounting speculation around the split proved to be the ultimate wake-up call. She admitted, I thought, okay, if I was ever going to prioritize his safety and well-being, I need to do it now. The couple have since both signed privacy agreements, which does not allow either of them to share images of Solian's face on social media. Shyla's decision to step back from the industry altogether was met with backlash from entitled fans, but she has revealed that she does not regret it. That is amazing. As a mother, it's my place to reaffirm boundaries for my daughter and to stand up for her rights and her privacy. Instead, Skylar, who now has more than 1.4 million followers on Instagram, is now working on a miniseries for her own channel. Skylar. I think it said instead Skylar. I think it's meant to say Shyla. Now, this article is really, really encouraging because this is a person who was making money online. They were making a lot of it online because if you look at her channel, this one has 11 million views. Now, the L&S channel, it only says it has 7 million views, but at its peak, likely had hundreds of millions of views, right? They have 2.85 million. They're making millions of dollars, just like Ace Family was making like 20, 30 million a year. These people were not making 20, 30. They may be making, 900,000 a year, something like that. They were making a lot of money. All of their wealth and fame came from this vlog. Obviously off of Ace Family because he's like the Wish version of Austin McBroom, right? He's his brother, but he's the Wish version. So I just wanted to take a look at the video because I hadn't seen it, and I think it's 20 minutes long, but want to take a look at it because this is someone who woke up to the industry and is spilling the dirt on it. It's really interesting to see someone who is waking up to this when their whole life was created by this. Now, does the breakup have something to do with it? Probably. Right, I know that she has beef with Catherine and all that kind of stuff, but that's just how this works. None of these people can have real friends. None of them do. They all have enemies eventually, right? They just turn into enemies. But let's watch.
Growing up, it was my brother who's younger, my sister who's older, and myself with our mom. And I remember it was like the week before my trip, had my flights, everything. And the guy I was dating at the time, he's like, well, if you go, I want to be the one to take you to the airport. And I just knew in my heart, if I left, that would be it because I'd be gone, I think, a month or something. In a month when you just newly started dating someone. But I stayed and we ended up dating. We ended up getting our own apartment together.
So I skipped a bunch of that stuff, but basically she's just giving you the origin story, right? How she met Landon, starting a date, and she was going to go off and do her own thing. Right, this is the time in her life I bet she could have got back. I bet you she wished she would have gotten on that plane and went and did this big adventure that she was, had this offer. Instead, she stuck around for a dude. If this is my daughter, I'd be like, you need to follow your dreams. Dude does not need to be getting in the way of your dreams. And so, again, that's just, she's telling you the origin story, and I guarantee you she wishes she could have that back.
I worked 2 jobs to get that apartment. I was so proud of myself. So after we moved in together, his family was already kind of getting into the YouTube space, so that kind of piqued our interest. We saw so many people doing cool things, and you get to make new memories because you want to film them. So I was like, wow, that's dope. We're going to travel. We're going to have all these experiences and do funny things and fun things, and we'll get to have it all. So we thought that'd be so cool.
And she's not wrong. This is how it really works. Some people get it, some people don't. But they used Ace Family's fame to grow their own channel. They probably wouldn't have made it without that, to be honest with you. I don't even know the Ace Family. I have no idea how the Ace Family did it either. It's crazy to me. Some of the people that I see on here who become famous, I'm like, what? How? How is that possible?
Problem was, I worked 2 jobs. He worked 1. We only had an hour window. I only had an hour window in between my first and my second job. We said, okay, let's make it happen. So I would rush home, immediately shower, get ready in 10 minutes, film an entire video in 30 minutes. He would start editing it. I would go to my second job, come home, I would finish editing it, and then we'd start posting. So it ended up being really fun.
Welcome back to L&S.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Hi, everybody. It's fun. We're having fun stuff. We're laughing. It ended up being really good.
Let's do it.
You don't even know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
So, along with the good stuff on YouTube, quickly the bad followed. And it started with me. Things were fine, things were good, and then I started noticing I would be attacked for little things. And at first, it was like one or two, and I would laugh about it and, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you wearing that? Why are you so loud? Why are you sounding like this? And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't really care. I'm living my life. They're just words. It can't really hurt me, right? And then it started becoming more and more. And then people would like reach out to me the more followers I got. And I would just kind of brush it off. It did make me a little insecure. I'm not going to lie. I was a little insecure when so many people are attacking you for the same thing. You start to wonder, okay, is it? And just like the way you look, the way you sound, things that you can't control. How do I say it? Like our entire YouTube channel just thought I had like a silver spoon. Like I was born into privilege. I feel like it's so easy to judge a book by its cover. And in my situation, people were so quick to judge me and just assume that I was rich, born into money, or I was with my boyfriend at the time for money.
Now, this is it. I mean, if you want this life, this is what comes as part and parcel. This is how you play the game. You get on this channel, you make a lot of money. YouTube and social media will make you a lot of money if you're big, but it will also set lots of people off because everybody's got an opinion. And unfortunately and fortunately, that's the beauty of social media, right? You're going to put your stuff out there for people to comment on. They're going to comment on it, right? And that's how the whole ecosystem works. It doesn't even work. Honestly, it does not work without your haters. It really doesn't. The people my hate watchers know every syllable and breath that I take on this channel. It's actually quite hilarious, right? They're my most ardent supporters. If you think about it for a second, right? And anybody who does these hate threads and everything, they know every minute detail about the people that they hate so much. The ones where they could just not watch them, but they know everything about them. The ecosystem works as your haters, then there's people who are casual watchers, and then there are super fans with parasocial relationships, okay? This is how the ecosystem works. It doesn't work without it. And you don't make a lot of money without all of them. But when you do, and I understand this, like I know I'm a potato, I don't look very good, and I get that. And so people make fun of me and stuff like that. It's odd though that the people who make fun of me are the ones who are mad at me for making fun of people, right? But that is what it is. That's just how this works. There's a lot of hypocrites. But if you think about this for a second, it's almost like you need to be wary and thankful for all parties who watch you. Because in the end, hate really doesn't matter. It actually helps you. But the ecosystem exists in a place, but that is the ecosystem. And if you don't have the thick skin for it, social media is not for you. If you can't handle somebody making fun of your looks or making fun of you in some way, you should not be on here because this will not help. This will hurt you. Okay? It's not a safe place for somebody who cannot take criticism. Okay? So, and she's saying that's how it all kind of started. And even though you're making all the money, it's funny when you get into this position, when you make all this money and everything else, that the money doesn't really matter anymore. It's all now about like, I want to have the cake and eat it too, you know? And a lot of creators are like that.
And part of me wanted to be so defensive and be like, you don't know me, you don't know where I came from. But the other part of me was kind of flattered that I had been through all of this and I hid it so well. And so part of me was kind of flattered, like,
You're not Jenny from the block anymore. You forgot that you're from the block. What would Jenny from the block say?
I can handle myself well enough that people don't even know what I've gone through. So, it did start affecting our YouTube channel. I wanted to do it less. And I started to change those things people would attack me on, you know, instead of like being so happy in an intro, I would calm it down because that's what they said they liked.
Welcome!
Hi everybody, thank you guys for tuning in and being here.
Trying to find myself, chase my dreams. I ended up getting pregnant. And a lot of people don't know, actually, I wanted to get pregnant. So my daughter was born December 19, 2019. I had a bit of a difficult pregnancy. In the beginning, it was really rough, kind of balanced out. I thought I knew so much, but really I knew nothing. Like I feel like I didn't even mean anything. Like my life didn't matter until my daughter came. So after my daughter was born, everything changed.
That's the never a truer statement if you have children. And that's what pisses me off so badly about family vloggers. When children come into your life, everything changes. I mean everything. Your protective instincts go crazy. Your plans change. Your future changes. Everything changes. It aligns for that child, right? Everything is now focused and determined for that child. So what makes me so angry about these family vloggers, especially ones who have kids on the internet, is they only see these children as content. Like that's a big paycheck for them. That kid was a massive paycheck. And going forward, what upsets me is that they don't actually see, the protective instincts weren't really there, and they don't understand and see the danger, and they just see it as a paycheck. And that's ugly. That's a human trait that is just nasty. And so when I see that, that's why when she says this, it's really important to me. But against her better judgment, she then still went on, because I guess she's probably being pressured by Landon to do it, because the Ace family was doing that, making their big bank doing that. It's so crazy that it shouldn't be this way. But money really does corrupt your best sensibilities. It really does. When money comes in the picture, you will literally throw away the safety of your children for the paycheck. And we've seen that with so many people. It cannot be denied.
It was like, in this relationship, it's almost like I had like blinders on. I couldn't see the entire picture. I couldn't see what was really going on. But once I had my daughter, I was able to see things in a whole new light. And I realized just how bad my relationship with her father was. And I learned what abuse was. I knew what abuse looked like growing up and seeing it from my parents, but I thought if it wasn't exactly like that, or if the fighting or the abuse wasn't daily, then maybe it wasn't abusive. It was just a sometimes thing. But once I had my daughter, I just knew I didn't want her to grow up like that. It was really hard for me, and I felt like I'd failed this little girl before she even had a chance. And
This girl is so far beyond her years with wisdom, and I wish family vloggers would all watch this. I feel like I've failed this kid before, and like that's it, and she did. And the scariest part, and unfortunately the craziest part is she did, but she recognizes it, and the kid's young enough now she can make the changes. But I'm pretty sure this was actually, I'm not sure if I'm right, but I think this is the girl that Austin McBroom brought to that candy store and bought a dick lollipop. I think I could be completely wrong about that, but I think. Or it's another family member anyway. Regardless, what he did is wrong. But that's, again, if family vloggers were honest with themselves, they would know that they failed their children. Considering what we know now about all this, and they know now too, they've all been warned about it. They've all been, a lot of them watch this and other channels who talk about it. They all know they have failed their kids. Isn't that crazy? And they don't care. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because, damn. We as humans, especially in the Western culture with in social media and money, man, we suck. We really do.
I realized the severity of my situation, and I thought, like, how did I try so hard to avoid men like my father and the things that my mother went through, and here I am in almost an exact replica of this situation. How did I get here when I tried so hard to run away? So,
called generational trauma. Generous curse. Like, a lot of people repeat the mistakes of their parents. But they were making money, and so it was probably a little, there wasn't poverty she was dealing with. She's probably dealing with abusive relationship. I think she's outed Landon as an abusive person, and I guess they've had an agreement now, and like he got called out. I don't know what he's doing now. Oh, boxing, whatever. It's ridiculous.
Things started getting extremely dangerous, which was a massive part of our relationship, and it was something I'd known the past 4 years. So not only was this the end of our relationship, but it was the end of our channel.
You need help.
No,
you're such a liar. You're trying to manipulate me.
I called 911 and I said, like, they're kidnapping my baby. Like, please help me. And I ran back as fast as I could to Joe, and I gave a description of what he was wearing. I put it on speaker so that he would know I was really calling 911.
You can call me crazy. You can call me untrust stuff right now, dude. I just went through the worst thing in my life. Like, I cannot trust you. I want to be able to trust you with our daughter. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared you're going to take her and, like, try to keep her there. Try to say like I'm racist, and I'm terrified of that. Like
we're seeing something go down too. Like obviously they went through some stuff because I think Landon was trying to get the kids and do what his brother was doing and wanted to do that whole thing and using the kids against him. And so the thing about toxic relationships, especially on YouTube and stuff like that, is that stuff will air out on the internet and your kids will see that forever, right? The Van Clan comes up to mind recently, right? They're going through all their shit and they're back together now and not fighting on camera, live streaming, swearing in front of the kids, locking the mom out of the house while the kids are in the house. Like this stuff gets aired out. And I'm not saying this doesn't exist because this does exist in the world. Like I lived this as a child, a very toxic and scary childhood. This stuff triggers me, right? But when you're a YouTuber and all this stuff kind of comes out to later. And these people get exposed for who they are all the time. It never fails. Because the truth eventually always comes out. They all live these lives that you think that they all live these lives they want to show you that they think everything's perfect. But I guarantee you nobody's perfect. And so when you watch these and consume these things, especially when it comes to children, you have to understand that most of it is a lie. And you're consuming a lie, and those kids are living, though, in that toxic lie that you are consuming. And so you're part of that lie, and you are feeding into it by giving them your social media currency. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm trying to make you understand that you shouldn't be watching it because you are adding to these kids. You're adding to the trauma that these kids are going through. You know what I mean?
I don't want you to take my daughter. Like, she is literally all I have.
Drove around like panicking, like where am I gonna take my kid? Like trying to figure it out. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Just crying.
Sitting on arms right now in the car because I'm fearful to go home. I believe they're trying to kidnap my daughter.
I have a new video for you guys because Landon and Shyla's breakup has turned dark. This past weekend, Shyla released images of what Landon physically did to her, and this is not okay.
Oh, he fakes his stuff on Instagram to look like he's a good guy, a good person.
Like this, their life is being shared on TMZ. You got Sloan and other guys talking about like Landon and his brother Austin are probably the lowest scum of the earth. We know the stories about Austin McBroom, his brother and his dad all going to do the parties, get women to sign NDAs and all that stuff. That stuff has all come out. Like there's been people whistleblowing that stuff, and they still continue to do it because money is everything to them. They don't really care the relationship is toxic, but we should care, right? Because there's kids there. There's kids involved. And you're consuming content and giving props and positive affirmations to these families like, oh, I love your family. When they're living the most toxic bullshit lives, these kids are going to be the ones that suffer. Not only through their invasion of their privacy and all their business on the internet forever, right? But they actually live in toxic relationships at home, in abusive relationships a lot of the time. And a lot of us are here, I don't watch it, but a lot of us are here watching this stuff. And you shouldn't. You don't reward people like that.
So at the time, the bullying on YouTube was the worst it had ever been for me. I was taking time off because of the trauma I was dealing with in real life. So I was stepping back more, which increased the bullying times 10, times 100%. I was hated. I was getting death threats. And no one knew what I was going through in real life. But nothing I had directly done had contributed to me failing. So it was a mix of feeling betrayal and failure. And like I didn't have any control over my life.
So I skipped through a bunch of that stuff, but it's really telling some of that stuff. And, congratulations to Shyla for waking up, getting out of that toxic situation, getting agreements in place that their daughter cannot be shared online. And I bet you that was against, like, Landon was probably fighting for the ability to do it. Like, is he still on the internet? Landon McBroom? The guy, and here's the thing, the guy's still rewarded with 255,000 subscribers. All his videos are gone, which is great. But they've been unlisted, by the way. They're not deleted because here, 18 million views he still has in his channel. No matter what you do, you're always going to get called out. And let's be real, the only people who are going to suffer from that are these kids. The kids that you brought into this lifestyle because Ace Family does it and they make a bunch of money and you wanted to do what they want to do. And you wanted to do what they did because that's the easy life. It's not the easy life for the kids, though, everybody. Having shit and nice houses and nice cars, kids could give two shits about that stuff in the long run. Okay, they don't care. Kids want a stable family of two loving parents giving them all the attention that they deserve and that they need to grow up to be healthy adults. I have yet to see a family vlogger that are raising healthy adults, that are raising kids who are going to be healthy adults, because they are raised in a world where their parents are two different types of people, one when the camera's on, one when the camera's off. They're fake. Family vlogs are fake. And I've said this really early in my channel. Another reason I cover this stuff is because a lot of women, specifically women, watch these channels and try to stack up to these people. And what you're doing is you're aligning it. You're trying to do something that doesn't exist. The lives that they show you are impossible. Okay? And you're always going to be left wanting. You're always going to feel like you're short of it and that you can't achieve it. And in the end, that's bad for you. So stop watching this shit. Like I've said a million times, it's not real. None of it is. None. Like TikTok already doesn't, for example, one of the ones I cover all the time. Like the shit that's gone down, specifically with their older kinship kids, like there's some craziness going on in there. That's because Alicia's not watching them. She's not building into them. She's not telling them the internet. She's not giving them internet safety tips. These kids have become famous without their consent. And now they are targets, right? There is no such thing as a good parent. If you are, and I'll say this, and I know I speak in black and white terms all the time because that's kind of how my brain works. I'm going to say it. If you are an internet parent who exploits your children for views and cash on the internet, there is no possible way that you're a good parent. Impossible. You understand? Because if you are an exploiter, you cannot also be a loving parent. It's one or the other. That's what I'm telling you. There's no halfway here. Kids don't care about cars and vacations and Disney and all that shit. They don't care. In the end, if you ask, the most loved kids with the most normal parents are the ones who have the best lives. I think we can all agree. Especially those who didn't grow up with that. We grew up looking at those kids who had those normal loving lives, wanting that and being sad we never had it. And so that's who I've become for my children. Okay, I want my kids to not ever have to deal with the stuff that I had to deal with. I think I say this quote all the time, and I'm not sure where I got it from, but it's basically, we become the people we would have trusted as children. That's who I am now. I became that for my children. They are going to grow up normal and loved in a home with two parents who love them very much and will do anything for them, who try to give them the most sense of normalcy that you could possibly have. And that is a gift you can give your children if you work really hard. Now, I'm not trying to throw single parents under the bus, because I know a lot of people out there who have been in situations who they had to get out of that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And you can give your kid that same type of lifestyle if you focus on them, their safety, and their well-being. That's what I'm saying. None of these people we watch out here, none of these people we talk about are doing that. It's impossible for them to do that. Because every time, like she said, when you wake up and have your coffee, it's what is content. Your kids become content. Imagine that. Some of them wake up and they're like, I don't want my kid to be content anymore. But imagine you're that. Imagine you go and you're a child and you're like, what do your parents do? Well, they film me for content. Their whole life is content. They don't have real jobs because I'm their job. Because I'm filmed for content. These kids are going to wake up someday, and they already are. And they already are leaving these situations and going no contact with their parents for a lot of the things. You really want that? If you're a loving parent, you should really think about that before you do any of this stuff. You really want no contact with your kids? You want them to hate you? Then keep doing it, right? So, really interesting video. I love when people do these types of videos because it gives us an insight and a look into something we normally don't get to see. So everybody, take a deep breath. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being amazing. These conversations are really, really tough, but really, really important. Don't watch those people, guys. Don't give them a view. Do not enable them. When you give your social media currency to an influencer like this, you are paying them. And inadvertently, you might not be trying to do this, but you are adding to the children's misery when you do it. Okay? Just stop watching it. You can watch it on, if you really have to watch it at a place where they don't get a view, right? Where they don't get the payment for it. That's one way you can do it too. Do your best, okay? And keep being amazing, incredible, and valuable. And I will see you when I see you.